please. You hate that I'm making friends instead of hanging in the corner with you judging everyone. You're just jealous that I get to do this and you didn't. That's what this is about. Am I wrong?
Excuse me?
Whatever, Mom.
You have lost your mind. You have lost your mind. You have lost your mind.
Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're new. And today we're going to talk about characters that, in my opinion, are really annoying. So annoying that sometimes I just want to do this. Mentally. But before I dive in, just a reminder that these are all my personal opinions. So let me stop rambling, and without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Ginny from Ginny and Georgia. Just saying that name gives me bad flashbacks. If you know, you know. If you have no clue what I'm talking about, Ginny and Georgia is about a young mom, Georgia, and her teenage daughter, Jinny, who moved to a new town with Georgia's son, Austin, after the tragic death of her husband. As they try to rebuild their lives, they face new challenges. Currently, there are 2 seasons. In season 2, Jinny wasn't that bad. She was still annoying though, but you kind of fall for her. However, season 1, Jinny was a nightmare. Don't get me wrong, there were other characters who gave me a headache too, like Maxine, a whole friendship group, and so on. The only characters I liked were Joe, Georgia, Ginny's dad, Austin, Marcus, and more. The bond between Ginny and her dad, or even Austin, was nice to see as well. But jumping back to Ginny, the reason I'm not a big fan of her character is that she just complains a lot. She's rude to her mum even though her mum is trying her best to raise her. She constantly makes herself the victim. There's a scene where Maxine is about to perform, but Ginny keeps distracting her, questioning what she did wrong, even though she knows exactly what happened.
I've kept this a secret from you because I love you so much and I just didn't know what to do. I had just moved to town and then the second time you had just broken up with Sophie.
Are you not ashamed of yourself?
In my head, I'm like, damn, read the room. Maxine is about to perform. She doesn't have time for this. Don't ruin it for her. It always seems to be like, it has to be about Jinny, even though it's not. There's another scene where Abby's trying to have a heart-to-heart conversation about her struggles. And guess what Jinny says?
I've had a lot of family stuff to deal with too. It's not just always about you.
She made it about herself. The relationship between Hunter and Jinny, we will just pretend that it didn't exist.
I was great to you. You didn't deserve it. You're throwing all that away.
Elena from the Vampire Diaries. The last time I rewatched the Vampire Diaries was in 2018. Basically 6 years ago. I don't remember much, but one thing I vividly recall is how annoying Elena can be. It's similar to Jinny, it always seems to be about her, even though it's not.
You almost killed your best friend.
I don't believe you.
Really?
You never wanted me to kill Catherine. Why are you protecting her, Stefan?
Listen to yourself. Your rage is making you crazy.
Do you still have feelings for her?
With Elena, everyone always have to save her from difficult situations, especially Bonnie, Stefan, or even Damon. Even though she's the one who put herself in those predicaments. On the other hand, Bonnie deals with her own challenges, either help from someone like Damon, Jamie, or someone else, or sometimes she does it by herself. But at the same time, it's not entirely Elena's fault. I blame the writers because they had no clue what to do with Bonnie as a character. I know this is off topic, but the ending of Vampire Diaries doesn't sit right with me. At first, I was okay with Elena picking Damon, while Bonnie ended up single again, and Stefan sacrificed his life to save Elena and everyone else. However, looking back at it, I think Stefan should have ended up with Elena alive, and Damon should have been with Bonnie. I remember one scene where Damon and Bonnie were trapped in a world with only a guy named Kai, who I forgot existed, called the prison world. During those episodes, and even more, they had more chemistry compared to Damon and Elena. Bella from the Vampire series. With Bella, it's just her actions that annoy me. There are times when I understand why she does certain things, and there are other times where I find myself wondering, what is she doing? Sometimes she puts herself in danger, for no reason. If you've never watched or even read the Twilight series, Bella's the main character and she's in love with Edward, who is also a vampire and her main love interest. Then there's Jacob, Bella's best friend, who is a werewolf and has one-sided feelings for her. What annoys me about Bella is that she knows, or at least kind of knows, that Jacob is in love with her, yet she plays with his emotions. But either way, she always chooses Edward in the end. Another thing about Bella is that her character feels kind of bland. Besides obsessing over Edward, she spends her time either talking with her friends, arguing with her dad, crying over Edward, doing vampire-related things, or reading. That's pretty much it. In the books, I guess they add more depth to her character, but in the movie she feels...
Okay.
Frank Gallagher from Shameless. If you have no clue who this man is, he's Frank Gallagher, the father of 6 children. He rarely takes care of them. He's in the house sometimes, but he only stays there when he needs a place to crash. And then he disappears for days, months, or even years when he chooses to. Don't get me wrong, there are moments when I kind of like his character, but then he ruins it by being reckless. Frank isn't the only character who annoys me in Shameless. I think every character does at some point. He uses his kids for his own benefits, he neglects them, he often isn't there when his kids need him, he places a heavy burden of responsibility on Fiona's shoulders. Speaking of Fiona, she's Frank's oldest daughter.
You don't get to abandon your kids and then show up one day to take your pick of the litter.
Oh, now, that's not fair. Your mother's made mistakes, but she's here now. That's got to count for something.
Shut up, Frank! This isn't about you!
Another character that kind of annoyed me was Lip, especially when it comes to relationships. If you have never watched Shameless before, Lip dated Karen and Mandy. With Karen, she played with Lip's emotion and decided to take revenge on her parents, who were good people by the way, by sleeping with Frank, Lip's dad, while he was drugged. And guess what? She filmed it. After that, she hurt so many people, especially her dad. If you know, you know. With Mandy, I kind of liked her for some reason. If you didn't know, Mandy's another one of Lip's love interest. She had a tragic history with her dad and her brother Mickey. However, she tried to murder Karen because she was jealous that Lip was still in love with her after the whole incident, and she ended up giving her brain damage. So in my head, I'm wondering if it's worth staying in a relationship with either of them. There are more characters to mention like Debbie, Steve, Fiona's ex, and so on. I might talk about them if I make a part 2 for this video. Chloe from Life is Strange. If you have no clue what Life is Strange is, it's basically a game that centers around a girl named Max who has the ability to rewind time, and Chloe is Max's best friend. The reason why Chloe annoys me is that she blames everyone for no reason. She blames Max for not reaching out to her for years, even though Chloe hasn't done the same. She blames her mum Joyce for giving her a hard life, and she blames her dad for leaving her even though he did attempt to do so. For context, Chloe's dad died in a car crash while driving to pick up his wife. So she's essentially blaming her dad for dying.
My fucking dad, of course. Hello? Really? Yes, I do. Damn right. He chose to go out that door and leave me forever.
Chloe constantly puts herself in tough situations, and Max is always there to save her. Sometimes she loves to guilt trip Max if she doesn't get her way. If you don't know, Life is Strange is a choice-based game. But to be fair though, I kind of get why Chloe is acting the way she is. She was very close to her dad, and she's also close to one girl named Rachel who's missing for months or even years, and she may be projecting her anger onto others. But at the same time, why is she blaming everyone else? Rory from Gilmore Girls. Don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people love the show, especially in the fall. I enjoy it too. I remember the first time I watched it, I was instantly hooked. However, I have to admit that I found Rory somewhat annoying at times. In the early seasons, she was hardworking, she had ambitions, despite her privileged backgrounds thanks to her grandparents. But as the series progressed, I just grew tired of her. She often made everything about herself, loved talking about her own experiences, and made some questionable decisions. Rory's relationships rarely ended well. For instance, she was a terrible girlfriend to Dean, lying to him about her feelings for Jess for 2 seasons. She also skipped her mother's entire graduation to be with Jess in New York, and later slept with Dean while he was married, encouraging him to leave his wife, only to realize she didn't want a relationship after all.
Happened.
You should be ashamed of yourself, what you did.
Just wait.
What did she ever do to you? Huh? How did she hurt you? Why are you doing this?
Teresa, please, calm down.
Calm down. My little girl has to come home and find your heinous letter in Dean's jacket.
Look, we're in the street.
You little monster.
Hey! Pull back, lady.
There aren't hundreds of other boys in the world. You have to go after her husband?
Facts! It's facts! It's not facts. These facts are not facts.
Okay, stop attacking my daughter right now. You're upset. I get it, but you do not do this.
She slept with my son-in-law. She broke up a marriage. Are you proud?
She did not break up a marriage.
What do you know of this?
Enough. I know Rory.
Well, all I know is that now my Lindsay is devastated. Dean is back with his parents. Lives are...
To be fair, she wasn't the only one at fault. Dean also cheated on his wife and lied to Rory. There were moments when Rory was a pretty bad friend to Lane as well, only reaching out when she needed support even though her friend faced a lot of challenges and Rory wasn't there to help her. There are more characters to talk about, but I don't want to make this video too long. I might consider making a part 2 in the future, I'm not sure yet. So these are just a few characters that sometimes annoy me.